What's good, y'all? It's Nick from Upper Room Fitness, and I appreciate you guys popping in for another episode of the Ordinary People Podcast. I got my dog Plank right here again. You know, he had to come say what's up. Welcome my dog Wilson, because you know we had to shout out to the commanders out here doing their thing. Shout out Jan Daniels, boy, balling. They literally they doing shit that they ain't done in my whole life, literally. So it's pretty dope to see us come out and do the thing, man. Let's hope we end up getting to the Super Bowl. But I got my little notepad again today because you know your boy like to ramble. So we're gonna try and we're gonna get through it. It's like we're gonna have a good time. But if you guys popped into the last episode, last time we was kind of talking about humility and how me tearing my PCL kind of led me down a way of finding grace in the things I love to do, but just how it helped me grow spiritually and I guess professionally now leading up to it too. Today's episode is going to be more about, I'm going to share a story about how quitting my job forced me to lean into discomfort and trust my ability to take more risk. Definitely something that my job helped for sure, at least like leaving that. Got to be comfortable doing those things if you're going to take that kind of risk. Before I even get into the story, I want to proceed with just saying that money is important for survival, but it's not everything. So that's how I feel about it for sure. Money is definitely important though, for sure. You be lying, your life's a whole lot easier with it than without it, for sure. But it's just not everything. There's a verse that I want to share that really stood out for me. A friend that I worked with at this job that I quit named Yaboa, he actually mentioned this verse to me, and it's kind of like stuck with me a little bit, and thought I'd share it with you. It's from Matthew 19:24, and it reads, "Again I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God." And to me, this just means that the more money you make, the more opportunities to corrupt your soul is going to present itself. And I just mean that in so like the simplest ways, where just money buys you opportunities and access to things that if you didn't, you wouldn't have it. So it's just more opportunities to do bad. So let me read. So when I think about this verse, it reminds me of the last couple months before I quit my job. It wasn't that there was anything like corruption going on, but I would describe it as if you're just surrounded by a toxic environment, then you're likely to, just that energy is going to be on you, regardless if you're going to press it off on somebody or not. Just that energy will definitely it's contagious for sure. But I'm not going to get into specifics of why I quit the job. We're just going to just cite poor leadership. I guess anybody who knows me knows a little bit more than what that is, but that's probably a story for another time if we do tell it. I'm here to focus more on the spiritual side of things, so sharing what the experience has been like for myself, so that maybe if somebody else wants to take it down the road with them, they can, you know. So I would say, well, we're gonna travel back in time a little bit. We're gonna go back to around really this time last year. I have been flirting with the idea that I wanted to kind of quit and do my own business thing, especially because I definitely had an idea of how I wanted it to look, and that was like me pursuing something like lean fitness, and just didn't really know exactly what it was or even how to go about it. I'm currently in school for business administration, so I've been kind of learning what I've been using that and putting it back in, as well as just listening to everybody else around me. But I mean, it's definitely more than that, especially when I think you're trying to, build something that you care about. So I guess you put a little bit more thought into it. But I was flirting with the idea to leave constantly. Money was doing well though, as far as everything. So, hold on, I gotta go back to my notes. I mean, I would describe where I was at in this situation more. It's like when you're in a bad situation, but everything is convenient for you. You constantly, like every day, just getting a million reasons to go. Either be like just a boss could just be getting on your nerves daily, and you kind of like it's an easy job, so you just chilling. There's no reason to cause any commotion. And then you might have coworkers who you might not agree with, or just ready for change. Honestly, whatever it may be, I think things are constantly going to be pulling at you to tell you to go, but you can stick through it just because it's easy to sit in comfort, or you can kind of push through it. And uh, I mean, listen to what that feeling is, and going with it. Um, for me, that job was very good balance. Like I was able to go into work, be a full time student, and then come back home, go to the gym, do whatever my flag football stuff, whatever I was doing, and not be like entirely burnt out. I mean, I know there's some people who uh they're able to be a full time student maybe, but it requires them to maybe work a little bit more, or like I'm in a very good situation to be able to do that, and then focus on building some of the assets for the business that I was already doing at the time, for sure. So it was pretty cozy. There would be no reason for somebody to have to leave that situation unless like it was just a really good situation. From where I was at, it was a good like stepping stone spot for where I wanted to go or move wherever. Once I kind of had this idea of like, hey, I wanted to go start my own business. Um, that's where it was looking. But I also had the leverage of I have this income coming in from this job that you can just pump into the business, so you're not like you can just move more efficiently than trying to just hope that you're gonna get funding, especially because I wasn't in that point where I was looking at those kind of options yet. Um, but all those things were good, but like what the time that I was spending there, it was really like weighing on me spiritually. Thing a lot of like I mean, I feel like black folk definitely can relate to this. Is like code switching, and especially in those government environments where y'all not just the conversations and the way you talk to people is probably not the same way you're talking to a good friend or a homie or something like that. Like obviously it's work etiquette, but it's just a different world sometimes when you're dealing with those folk. Uh, and I just mean government folk in general. It's just a different world, especially when you really just want to. I mean, get a check and go home because I mean you're just a number to these people at the end of the day. But dealing with that toxic leadership, yeah, it really wasn't like I'd rather spend more time thinking about the good I can do than or thinking progressively than whining and complaining about things that you're the source of the problem of, but we don't we're not willing to acknowledge that. And that's kind of where I'm at as a person too. I kind of don't want to sit here and have conversations with people who don't need, who don't, who aren't willing to acknowledge themselves in certain situations. Luckily, I'm surrounded by people who aren't quite like that, but the reality is like that's a lot of people out here, and I'm a firm believer that you got to speak positively about things, and if and you also got to be willing to accept that you're the problem or not, and things get better when things don't change until we change type shit. Yeah, I mean, okay, so where I was at on the timeline, the only thing that was stopping me from quitting my job at this point was it was a good place financially speaking. I was in a good position to move however I wanted. If I wanted to get another job, I easily could have, but I wasn't struggling financially by no means at all. So I was in a pretty good place. And like I said, that money could have been great to dump into into the business, uh, invest somewhere else, pay off debt. Like it was a good situation to be in, especially as a full time student and getting ready like to transition to whatever he wanted to do next. But at this, like I said, I was already plotting my escape or getting ready to make the move, and I was putting the stepping stones in place. And maybe it's a lesson to learn in the future as well. Maybe me talking about it in public might have made way back to somebody who got ear in it and maybe made the situation up there a little bit worse than it needed to be. Who knows? But the like a big part of that was just being prepared. So I was already starting to put the plan in place, and once I had the plan ready to go, it was really like, all right, bro, like this is what you want to do, like, and this job is stressing you, so I mean, you don't have to be stressed. Like that's literally a choice of yours right now. So after just telling myself enough, like man, like eventually, like just me having to deal with this workplace it's just gonna weigh on you, and then you might end up cracking eventually, or you might just have a bad day, and then now you act out of character when that's just not in your nature. So after a while, it just kind of got to the point where I voiced my problems to certain people. Things didn't change, so so I quote the Kanye joint. So I quit. Y'all welcome. Yeah, I just didn't. One day I just woke up and I was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't really feel like going in anymore. So just sent my little resignation email and just got up out of there. It was, and honestly, I mean, I had no regrets at the moment, and I mean, I probably was thinking about giving it 2 weeks, but that place already let me know how they felt about me, and then on top of that, I guess I'm not really planning on having to get another job, so, might as well just get on going. I understand not burning bridges and whatnot, but then you guys would probably have to understand that situation to really understand that, which that probably be a story for a whole nother time for real. So now it's kind of, after I made this leap out of like just quitting my job, it's still not like there was a plan in place, especially because I'm in a decent enough position where I don't really have to work right now, so I could easily choose not to work. But I think part of me like leaving, this is what I'm saying on the spiritual side, was more so God kind of just telling you like, hey Brand, like sometimes you gotta slow down and speed up, and it might be more beneficial for you just to put that time into the business while you have time, which is like the biggest luxury than anything. I mean, why not try and use that time to just put it into the business? Now things are gonna get uncomfortable, but you come out on the back end of it, and definitely you reap what you sow. So that was kind of playing through my mind, like getting ready to like quit. Is like understand that yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, bro, but you've always like you're used to putting in work, and just the grind is just gonna be different, but the grind is still the grind. You just gotta make it work. And then also have that overwhelming feeling that like leading up to this point to feel like you're confident enough to make that decision lets you know that like you're built for this. You went through everything that you went through just to be ready for this moment, and these moments are going to help you build up into something even better down the road till you become who you're supposed to become. It's not going to be easy, but you got to be willing to get hot, go in the kitchen, go in the oven for a little bit, and make this shit work. Definitely what I'm definitely starting to learn like throughout this whole process. Like, I mean, this is even like diving into the uncomfortable, and and like journeying into things that you're not really sure of. Like that's where faith comes in huge. God plays a huge role in it all, and just understanding that, you know, when you're lost, you just take the guidance from up above. He's gonna let you know what's the next direction to move in. You just gotta keep your eyes open for it. I think oftentimes when we're full of anxious and anxiety, it's kind of hard to make decisions when, you know, your world is spinning. Like you just want to get safe, but uh, sometimes you have to trust that the plan that you put in place, it was provided through Him, and just just take it in stride. I mean, there's some days you kind of not entirely sure what's going to happen, but think that's why you build a solid foundation so that you know the things you can fall back on. Um, it's definitely, you know, helped me a lot in that aspect. You know, just trusting my instincts. Uh, Definitely was a huge thing. Is that um, whatever decisions that I've made up to this point have led me to be in this position. So I gotta continue to hold that to it and understand that, like, those are things that you've done in the past, and you continue to do those things in the future. All these things kind of play in your mind, as long as with the doubt is a huge thing, but it's never bad doubt. But sometimes when you're doing something you never done before, you're gonna wonder, like, damn, like, is that the right move or not? But I mean, that's what it is. You just gotta be willing to. I mean, I talked about it all through my social media. Is the never lost is the lessons. So really, just like learning from every step you're gonna take. Not really expecting things to happen overnight. And honestly, I'm enjoying the process as well. I'm finding a lot about myself while doing some of this stuff. Um, and it was huge to even get to this point, because I really, like, as soon as I left, like, I was still building on the website, focused on school, but I was really just been taking care of my mental, making sure that I'm ready for, you know, to go forward and really, like, accept the life that I've chosen that I want to live, and moving with that. Got Mondays to help, you know, keep me staying routine, so I keep things shaking and moving fine. Cause it's definitely easier to have days where you're like, man, I don't even got to do shit today, so I'm really not going to. But I think when you got bigger dreams, then you got to kind of push through that. So just bringing Mondays along has kind of sharpened my sword as well, because I'm growing in many areas just by having to take care of her and bond with the dog that I've never done before. Definitely huge on definitely not being afraid to fail. Definitely gotta take some risks, definitely. Moving a little bit more into right now, talking about just how uncomfortable this whole process for me has been. Uh, it's definitely been interesting, especially like pushing and making more content for myself. Trying to, like, push things through my social media. It's not really something that I've normally done in the past. And it's a real, like, even doing this whole podcast thing, like, it takes some time getting used to even talking into a camera, especially by yourself. So I know, like, in the future having people will probably make it better, but it's definitely a strange thing of, like, recording yourself. I do be recording on Twitch and playing, like, games here and there, but it's a little bit different. Letting people see this side of me a little bit more. It can be a little bit more introspective than people might expect, but I have a lot to share, and I think a lot of this information can it's gonna make you wealthy, but in the sense of your health, taking care of your health, and all the other things follow. Like me personally, I'm not, like, trying to start my own business solely for money. Like, yeah, I want to be able to provide for myself and future family, but it's more important for me just to give back to people and kind of living within purpose. And if the product is good, then the people are going to come. So really just trying to take care of that and just let people kind of see me for who I am. And I think highlighting some of the struggles that I'm going through right now. I don't want to call them struggles. We call them struggles. We call obstacles, challenges. I mean, whatever you want to call them. It's cool because, I mean, I don't feel like I don't plan on being like this forever. So with the intent to grow. I want other people to see this and be like, damn, like I was there when this motherfucker podcast was struggling, not struggling, but it was just different. He was just figuring it out. It was new, and that's what hopefully like people watching me do this gives them the courage to try and break out of the shell and try new things for themselves as well. So like I wanted to share all this because I think I wanted to inspire other people to take that leap and go and do something that they was kind of tiptoeing on. It don't got to be quite quitting your job, but definitely don't be afraid to take that leap and try something new. Whether it be that new exercise in the gym. It could just be, I want to start a new routine. Worst that happens is you don't like it and you go back to doing what you were doing before. Or like for me, for example, I've started waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, or at least like get my day started. Some mornings I might not make it into the gym till actually like 5, but I wake up at 4 and whether I get ready to post something for my word of the day post or something, like waking up at 4, then by the time I get out of the gym, I go walk the dog, make breakfast and cook and ready to start my day by 7:30, 8 o'clock most days. And by lunchtime, I've already almost completed a full day's worth of work, and I can still continue to work throughout the day, which, working on my own thing has definitely granted that because it's something I really care about. So I can constantly, the time that I'm putting into it is cool. Like I'm cool with putting the time into it. Just gotta be strategic with your time because sometimes you gotta, hit deadlines, I guess you would say to speak, with school and everything. But I was kind of leaning more into like talking about just building a mindset, because whatever you want is easily attained through a mindset, and that's kind of what the message I'm trying. I just said message and package together. That would sound crazy, but I just want to start integrating the message a little bit more into it. Some things I'm kind of working on in the future is getting my buddy 𝐬𝐝 on here, so we can talk more about. We're gonna call it Sunday service, but we talk more about for just those people who are looking to gain a better relationship with God. That's kind of what more I'm attending it for. Because even myself, I want to grow more as well within the spirit. So definitely gonna start trying to offer that once a week with him, especially once we get things rolling around. So we're gonna see how that kind of goes. Other than that, man, I think this is really we're about to wrap it up right now. Let me go through my notes to make sure I don't forget to tell you guys anything else. So there's a couple things that just, I guess, leave with anybody. Don't be afraid to fail. Like, it's okay to go back to the drawing board, and you get something wrong, you go and figure it out. You got to take those missteps along the way, and the sooner you get those out the way, you can go and start, catching some W's. So I've used that same mindset and so many other things that I'm applying it for business, just because I know it's gonna work out. I just gotta work my ass off, and I'm willing to put the work in. So if anything, look at me as somebody that has proven hard work do pay off, and it's gonna continue to pay off. Learn from people around you, and I mean that in everything. I think in all the years of existence, and even the existence of the Bible, you can find someone or something to relate to, or maybe somebody who's gone through certain things, and they might be able to help you. Maybe not exactly that's unique to your human experience, but there's answers to us in the world around us. And self-talk. Y'all make sure y'all being nice to yourselves for real. You can't expect nobody else to be nice to you until at least you're being nice to yourself. And so that even when you're doing something wrong, it's cool just to be cool with yourself, and just keep it pushing like that. It goes a long way with just not being as, and even my dogs out there who like to tell yourself, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm good. Like, and think it's soft to be like, nah, bro, it's all good. Like, we fucked up, but we'll get it back. Like, it's cool just to have those cool moments with yourself without having to be like too aggressive on yourself. So definitely be gentle on yourselves. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Hopefully, I edit this well enough to get some of the pauses and stuff out, or I might not touch it again. We gonna see. But yeah, like, comment, share. Appreciate you guys popping in. And yo, go Commanders, bro. For real. Shout out Jane Daniels, Super Bowl MVP. Yes, sir.